Hello guys, welcome to the first video tutorial on connecting and using Microsoft Access database with your Visual Basic Windows Form application project. So let's get started. I have this database here, and first of all, if you don't even know how to create a database in Access, I have created a playlist for the beginners which you can refer to. So just go to my channel, which is Programming Knowledge, and in here go to Playlist tab here. So click this playlist tab and you will be able to find Microsoft Access tutorial for beginners. So just click that and you can see some videos here, and in here I have shown you how you can create databases and how you can use databases and how you can query databases. So it's a complete package for beginners if you don't even know how to create Access database. Okay, so once you know how to create an Access database, I have already created this database, and my database name is employee data. Okay, and I have some columns here which are employee ID, EID, first name, last name, date of birth, country, phone, and pay. And I also have some data in this table of my database, and which is from employee ID 1 to employee ID 13. Okay. So now once you have your database created and you have some data in it, you can just go to your Visual Studio and you can create a new Visual Basic project. So what I'm going to do is I will click this new project and I'm going to make Windows Form application, and in here I will change the name of my project as Access DB tutorial, and I will click OK. This will create a project for us, and I think you might know the basics of Visual Basic. This is the Solution Explorer and this is our toolbox. And what is most important to connect your database with your Visual Studio project is this section called data source. Okay, so if you don't see this section here, you can go to view and go to other windows and you can find this data source from here also, right? So now just go to this data source and we are going to create a new data source from here. Okay, so I will say new data source. Just click this small icon on the left and this will open this wizard for you, database wizard. Just select this database here and click next, and once again click data set here and click next. And now you need to create the connection with your Access database. Okay, right now I don't have any connection, right? So for making the connection with your Access database, you need to know where your database is in your computer. So for example, this database, which is employee info database, is present in my somewhere in my computer and in my Access database folder. So this is the path to my database file. Okay, so just search for wherever you have created and saved your database. The path you must know. Okay, once again I will go to my Visual Basic uh, wizard here and I will say new connection, and we are going to change the connection and we will choose here Microsoft Access database file. Okay, select this first option here and click OK, and this will open this add connections here, and you can now browse to the location where you have your database. Okay, so just copy the path here, go to your project, paste your path here and you will reach to the destination of your database. So select your database here and click open. And for checking the connection with your database, if your connection is successful or not, you can click this test connection, and if you see this test connection succeed, then you are connected to your database. Now click OK, and you will be able to see this employee or whatever your database name .accdb connection. Next, you will click the next button and you will see this message. So read this message carefully. The connection you selected uses local database file that is not in the current project. So it's saying that the connection you have created with the access database, it's not present in your working directory of your project. Okay, so my project, for example, is located in somewhere in my Visual Studio folder, and there is a folder there called projects, and my project is here. So where is my project? I will search for it. And in case you will not find your project you recently created, you can just go back to your Visual Studio 2010 or whatever version you have, and go to the backup files here, because you haven't saved your project till now. It will be in your backup file. So here you have access db tutorial. So this is my database, and here right now I don't have anything, right, which is this. So I'm this wizard is asking me if this database is present in my project folder or not. So this is not present, right? So I will say yes, and if you click yes button, Visual Basic or Visual Studio will copy your database to your working project. So I will click yes. Or if you don't need to copy this database to your project, you can click no, and the connection will be fine. There will be no difficulty. But I will say yes for now. And now it will create a connection string which is called employee info connection string. I will leave it as default and click next. And now you will be able to see the tables here. So if you want, you can select all the columns you want to show in your or you want to use in your project. So I will just select this top button or the top check box, and it will click all the check boxes, and I will click finish. So now I have one data source which is connected to Microsoft Access database. Okay. Now first thing I will do is I will save my project. So I will click this button, save all, and it will give me save project option, and all the things are default. I will click save, and as soon as I click save, my project will be saved here. Okay. So now my project is saved. I can check it whether it's present in my project folder or not. So once you save, it will go into Visual Basic projects, and you can see here Access Database Tutorial project. And once again, when I go inside this folder, you will be able to see this employee info connection or database here in this folder. So that's what I meant by uh, copying your database into your working project. Okay, now that's done. Now just go to this data source here, what just, and you can just pin it this here, so you will be able to see it always. And what you need to do is just click this database name here, which is employee data in my case, and there, when you click this small combo box button here, you will see data grid view and details. So just select details for now. Select this details. So I have selected. There will be no change here, you will be able to see, but details is selected right now. Okay. Now what you need to do is just select your database and drag and drop into your form. Okay. So what you need to do, you just need to select this database and drag and drop into the form. Okay. So I dragged and drop into the form, and as soon as you drop this database into your form, you will be able to see all these text boxes and labels with the real name of your columns which you have here. So I have EID, first name, last name, date of birth, which is DOB, country, phone, and pay. You will be able to see all here. EID, first name, last name, DOB, country, phone, and pay. And this Visual Basic even recognizes that this DOB is a date time data type. So if you see here, this DOB is the date of birth, right? And this, when I go to the design view, this DOB is a date time data type. So it recognizes that it's a date time data type, and it will give you this date time tool for you. Okay, so I will give you the demonstration for that, but let's make our form a little bit bigger. You will be able to see these connection, binding source, connection, data table adapter, and all these things here also. Now for example, I want a table in my form, and I want to see all the data which is in my database table, access database table, right? So what I'm going to do is I will go to my toolbox, which is this one, and I will select data grid view here. And as soon as I select my data grid view, let me just resize it so I can see my data. Okay, so I resize it, and once you have resized it, just go to this small little button, triangle button here, and right now there is no data source, so you need to choose data source. Go here, choose data source, and you will be able to see your employee data binding source, or whatever name of your database. You will be able to see the binding source for that. So my database name is employee data, so I will select this, and as soon as you select this, you will be able to see all the columns from your database in your data grid view or table. You can also select this enable column rendering, and just you will be able to see this here. Now once you have done, you have everything. You have table, you have text boxes to enter the data, and you have labels to indicate which data represent what. Now you can run your data, or you run your project, and you will be able to see all the data which is present in my database, which is from employee ID 1 to 13 in here in this table. I can even navigate through the this table by clicking this button, move next. So this will move next, 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 like this, right? And move previous. You can even go to the last data and first data by clicking these buttons. You can add an employee also, or you can add a new data by clicking this plus sign, and as soon as you click this button, your cursor goes to here. So right now I have 13 employee. I will add the 14th employee, 14, and the name is Paul, for example, some surname, and the date of birth. I can choose the date of birth from here. So I will select first of all year. Year is 1980, April, for example, February. Country is USA, for example. Phone number is 123456789. Okay, and pay is, for example, 40 per hour. Okay, and once you have entered your data, you can just click the save data, and you will be able to see your data here, right? Now, if you might be wondering if this data you changed is edited here also. So let me refresh my data, and you will see, if you see that your data is not refreshing here, then probably you are opening the wrong database. So as I have told you, your database is your database location was here in wherever you have saved your database. But once you have clicked that yes button when I was running the wizard, it has copied your database in your project folder, right? So project access database, in here I have bin folder. Go to bin, go to debug, and your database is this one, right? Your database is copied to this debug folder of yours. So this database is copied to this debug folder. So now the working copy of access database is not the original place or original folder at which you have saved your database, but your project folder, and in that bin and debug folder. So this is your database. And when I open this database, right click and open, or open with Access, Microsoft Access, now you will be able to see your database and all the changes. I will say enable, okay, and I will open this table. And you see the 14th employee is added here. So just remember this, that your database is copied to your working directory of your Visual Basic project. Okay. Once again, I want to add a new employee. Add 15, employee ID 15, some name, some surname, and date of birth. For example, I will choose country. I will choose UK, for example. Phone, once again, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and pay, his pay is $38 per hour. Okay, and I will save this button, or I will click the save button, and my data is added here. And once you go to your database once again, refresh it, and your data you will be able to see in this access database also. Okay, and you can even delete your data by clicking this cross button. So in this way you can connect uh, the access database to your Visual Basic Windows Form Application project. Now in the next video, I will also show you how you can add save, previous, next buttons, because the buttons you have added right now, when you double click them, so double click this and you will go to the project, you will not be able to see what is the code behind all these buttons. Okay, so I will show you how you can write a codes manually to copy or to emulate the same functionality of this next, previous buttons, add data or save data buttons, by adding the buttons, real buttons here. So stay tuned and please rate, comment and subscribe, and bye for now.